Hey team, hope you're all doing well. Today's topic I want to go over is running up hills good training. Common question, often asked. Hill training, without a doubt, was a part of my preparation. It still is, training for mid-distance and long-distance races. And I definitely think that for athletes that are trying to run faster on the track or on the roads, implementing a strategy in terms of hill training, hill repetitions, is very important for your training. I would focus on doing hill repetitions every other week. The things that helped me out most over the years was just trying to find a hill anywhere from 150 meters to 300 meters in length, and really focusing on lifting your knees and pumping your arms and focusing on form, because hills are definitely great because they take you, you're working different muscle groups as well, versus if you're running on the flat surfaces if you're training for a race like Rotterdam, or you're training for a track race where you're going to be on a flat surface. It only helps the athlete to train on hills, but not doing it too often. Okay, you want to have a healthy balance of both aerobic training as well as anaerobic training. Hill training is a great way to get out of your comfort zone and very quickly. Okay, if you're in the early stages of your buildup, I always tell my athletes and the athletes that invest in my training plans or the running courses that I've created, always focus first on building that aerobic base. Build that foundation of easy, relaxed mileage, doing strides, 5 to 6 100-meter strides 2 to 3 times per week in that 3 to 4 week buildup of running just aerobic base mileage first. Don't do any types of tempo runs or hill training during an aerobic base building phase. Okay, the most important thing first is to get your ligaments and your tendons and muscles accustomed to getting out the door on a routine basis. Staying consistent with your training is absolutely essential. Okay, first you want to build that aerobic fitness first before you start working doing hill repetitions and doing hill training. Is also finding hillier terrain, running on courses for long periods of time over gradual hills, not so sharp where you're just running and you're doing sprints up hills. But also training on hillier type courses. Again, this is only going to help you if you're training, especially if you're training for a track race like a 1,500 meter, a 10,000 meter on the track, or if you're training for a flat road race like Chicago or Berlin. If you're training on hillier terrain, this is only going to help those athletes to make racing on flat surfaces that much easier. One of the great things about hill training is it definitely helps you to improve your form, because again, you're not going to be pumping your arms and lifting your knees to the extent as you would be on hill training, on hill repetitions, versus if you're just running on flat surfaces. So it is important to get outside of your comfort zone and do these types of workouts. If all the best middle to long distance runners I've watched over the years, especially Sebastian Coe, the former world record holder for the 800 meter. I mean, Sebastian Coe ran 1:41.73 back in like the 80s, mid to late 80s. And he was a big advocate of doing hill repetitions, and you would watch him. I'd see some of his videos you can find on YouTube where he would be doing about 100-meter sprints all out up the hills and jogging relatively fast on the way down. So one thing I want you to keep in mind when you're doing hill repetitions is to first, again, build that aerobic base. Don't just jump into doing hill repetitions or hill workouts immediately into your buildup. Again, you have to build that foundation first. But gradually, if you're finding a hill maybe 200 to 300 meters in length, run moderately in terms of intensity, run moderately fast up the hill, and then maybe like the last 20 meters of a 200 to 300 meter hill, run that portion all out, and then walk on the way down. Okay, so you do want to make sure it's just like track workouts. Your repetitions are going to be slower in the early stages of a buildup, and then you're going to have more rest in between each one of those repetitions. But when you become more anaerobically fit, your heart doesn't have to work quite as hard. You can run at much faster paces per mile or per kilometer at the same type of in terms of heart rate versus when you first started off and the paces were much slower, but your heart rate was the same. So it's very cool in terms of how the body adapts to the hard anaerobic workouts you do. But as you get fitter, you do want to run, you want to get to a point where when you're like midway through a buildup and you've become very fit anaerobically as well as aerobically, you want to run all out on the way up the hill and then jog lightly on the way down instead of walking. So again, it's improving the body's lactate tolerance. Hill training is also very important in terms of recruiting more fast twitch muscle fibers. It's just like doing like repeat 300s on the track or repeat 600s or 1200s, where you're running at such fast paces that you can't clear that lactic acid faster than it's building up. So it is important that when you're doing hill repetitions, and definitely hill repetitions is a great workout in terms of recruiting those fast twitch muscle fibers, so that again, you get running at goal race pace, maybe your goal 5K, 10K, half marathon, marathon race pace. It's going to make that race pace feel that much more easier for you, because again, you're elevating your heart rate and you're running at paces that are so intense that you can't clear that lactic acid faster than it's building up. That's why we need that rest in between each one of these repetitions that we do. And I think when you're running hills, just be patient with yourself. Know that it is going to hurt bad. There's nothing easy about doing these, but again, start off at moderate efforts first, so that you get a feel for how it feels for doing repeat 200s sprinting up a hill. You don't have to run all out at the very beginning. So just run moderate hill repetitions at first for a few weeks, and then get to a point where you start increasing the intensity as you get fitter, and you're instead of jogging down the hill, you're walking down the hill at the beginning stages, and you want to work your way to a point where you're jogging on the way down. So you're giving yourself less rest. The repetitions are much more intense as you get fitter, and naturally much easier and much more relaxed at the beginning stages. But again, even running up a 200 to 300 meter hill moderately is going to produce a huge physiological boost for you, because again, you're forcing yourself to pump your arms, lift your knees, you're focusing on your form. Definitely continue to focus on staying relaxed even under pressure. Stay relaxed even running at faster anaerobic efforts. You'll notice even when you're out running, and I'm sure a lot of you out there do, when you're running easy and relaxed, there's times where you feel like you're tensing up. So consciously tell yourself, I'm in control. Whatever you have to say, positive things about yourself, just tell yourself, I'm relaxed, I'm ready to do this. And consciously telling yourself these things as well will be very helpful for you to not only maintain your form, but also stay positive and stay motivated throughout your training buildup. There's not really anything easy about doing hill repetitions or running over hillier terrain. It's just going to make you stronger. You're going to build your stamina. You're going to build your endurance. You're going to build your strength. That runners that are training for faster times on the track or on the road are seeking. Hill repetitions is a absolute must if you're trying to run a new personal best. But again, be sparingly in terms, be patient with your build-up, but don't do hill repetitions too routinely. I would do it every other week. You can do hill repetitions in the place of a track workout or in the place of a tempo run. But if you're doing it every other week, it keeps things interesting in terms of your training build-up, and will help you in the end. So I hope this is helpful for you. Feel free to leave me a comment below. I will definitely reach back out to you guys and gals that leave comments. Like and share these videos. I really appreciate that. Obviously, it helps with the YouTube algorithm and more athletes around the world to see these videos. And if you're new to this channel, if this is the first time you've seen my videos, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so when I make a new video, you'll be notified of it. And I will talk to you guys and gals all in the next video, and I wish you all the best in your training and in your upcoming races.